let's go to the NFL. I think that's all that's left.
Let's attack it.
We do have the college national championship as well.
Well, all right, let's start with that. Let's start with the college championship. Alabama. No surprise, yep. Alabama wins. Okay, let's move on.
Come on. Nick Saban overtakes Bear Bryant as the most winningest coach ever in college football. He's got 7 national titles.
Yeah, Mac Jones throws 5 touchdowns.
Like ridiculous. I think he had 5 touchdowns and like 450 or something.
Yep. Smith has...
Devontae Smith had 3 touchdowns, 220 yards in the first half.
Yeah.
Goes out halfway through the third with a broken
hand
finger.
Injury. If it was close, I think he probably plays on, but...
Yeah.
But it's since they smoked him. They smoked Ohio, so it makes sense that you take it easy, bud. Start getting ready for your top 10 draft pick that you're most likely going to be.
Does he need to put on a bit of weight? He looks very skinny.
He is very skinny, but you look at what Ruggs and Judy did last year, very similar kind of skinny guys coming out. Still wearing
Ruggs and Judy got Heismans?
They didn't, and they went 11 and 15, so he's got to be top 10. I think Chase from LSU's the top receiver. Prospect-wise, but I think
he'll be the number 1 receiver.
Yeah, it's after the way he's finished off the year, getting the Heisman, you'd say he'd definitely be there.
That's all you can do. His numbers.
They might combine still happen. That might come into a little bit. Maybe if
he'll be fast.
If he runs 4.4 and say Chase runs 4.3 or something, like 4.32, like low 4.3s, they might go, oh yeah, he's a bit bigger size and he runs quick. Maybe we can get.
I think Devontae will. His speed won't be an issue. I think maybe his size. He does look a little bit trim.
Yeah, I think
but they can fix that up.
A few of the mock drafts I've seen, though Denver's now 9. I think overall picks, I think they had like 8 to Chase and 9 was Smith. So they're super close. So they're very hard to pick between them, which was kind of like what last year was with Ruggs, Judy, and CeeDee Lamb. Like they all slightly do things slightly different.
Yeah.
But they all had pretty good years. Ruggs, I think, kind of made sense, a deep threat that runs a lot, had hamstring injuries, then struggled with his hamstring during the year. Like that's what you're getting into when you drafted him. But Judy is a great route runner, excellent route runner, and then CeeDee Lamb, maybe not the fastest, but excellent hands, excellent route running.
Some of those catches this year.
And then, of course, Justin Jefferson sneaking up in the back going, I was better than all 3, yeah. So
Possibly. Time will tell.
Yeah, of course, time will tell, but on last year, unreal year.
Oh, obviously.
Better quarterback play, though, compared to the other 3.
Well, no. Jefferson, the best receiver out of that group this year.
Yeah. So, Mac Jones.
Yes.
Talk. He... A little bit undersized for a quarterback.
What is he? Can we have some
6'1", 210 something.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, he's not.
Nothing wrong with that.
He's not the hugest, but he's good enough. I think that the concern's more about he's played for Alabama. So Tua's he couldn't beat Tua. Tua was there for donkey's years. He's come in surrounded by talent. Smith, you got the Heisman receiver. You got an excellent O-line. What happens then if I take you and then put you on, say, the Falcons?
You can only be as good as the blokes around you.
Yes.
Size, what I'm going to counter argue to that is size is not an issue there.
Yeah. I wouldn't disregard him as size. Like there's guys smaller than him.
Russell Wilson, Drew Brees.
Yeah. And Baker's about 6 foot, I think, as well.
But 6'1".
All 3 of those have played in the playoffs. One, of course, out now, and 2 still going. So. Yeah, I don't think size is much of an issue. I think if they're more, is he a game manager or is he a game winner? Is he like Lamar's probably a poor comparison, but like freakish athlete, freakish talent could possibly win you games. He's going to win you games versus you're an Andy Dalton kind of type where he's going to manage you and you need the support stuff around to win games.
Different comparison, I think.
Yeah. So. Because I think coming in the year, people were talking 4th round pick. Then some are saying now he got up to the 3rd or 2nd, and after destroying Justin Fields,
he should be a 1st round pick.
Who then just destroyed Trevor Lawrence. If you connect in the dots, he's like, he should be higher than those other 2. But first round, maybe. I think there's going to be concerns. People go back and look at his tape and say, well, he's played this year. how much was his ability versus the ability around him, and whether I'm thinking second, maybe late first. He sneaks into a team that
is he a senior this year? Like, could he forego the draft and play another year?
Oh, great question. I think he's already said he's coming out, but possibly, maybe not. Because if you were him, it makes sense. Go back and play another year. Then you don't have to come out the year that Trevor Lawrence comes out. Like,
You get another year under your belt.
exactly. Don't come out the year that Trevor Lawrence and Justin Fields comes out. You come out another year later, maybe you're the top pick, and then you go on top 5 versus maybe 15 backwards kind of spot. But on the flip side, we'll talk about Fields for a minute. Didn't have a great game after absolutely dominating Clemson. Talk that he probably played hurt after, sustaining the rib injury.
Yeah, he got smoked. He got smoked.
Not maybe not his 100%. So give him props for gutting it out. But which Justin Fields are you getting? Are you getting Clemson Justin Fields? Are you getting Alabama Justin Fields?
I tell you, you're getting a fucking quality quarterback.
Yeah,
Like he got really smashed in those ribs last week against Clemson. I don't think Ohio State really lost that game. I think they just come up against one of the best offenses that college football's ever
you
seen.
come up against one of the best college programs ever put together, especially in the last 10 years plus. Like, they're just so dominant, and they're definitely filled with high level talent, and so many of them will be first round picks next year. Like, they're
saying the records to beat is from Bama is 6 first rounders.
Yeah.
So they're predicting maybe that might
crazy.
happen this year.
Yeah.
Which is ridiculous.
Oh,
There's 32 guys that get drafted in the first round of the NFL, and to think that 6 come from the same program
Six
is
plus,
nuts.
yeah.
So,
And considering, I think every year almost 3,000 odd college athletes come out, like seniors and guys that then commit, like to have so many come from one program and then go into the first round, like
absolutely
percentage wise,
nuts.
like it's
nuts.
it's crazy. So enough talk about SEC. Alabama wins. What was the score? 52 to something?
52-28.
Yeah, I think so. I think Seymour had a great game against
24.
Clemson, did nothing in this
24.
one.
Yep.
I'm not sure. Did Seymour get hurt as a running back? Because he did nothing in this. I think he had 2 carries. So he played a lot in the first. Well, he played a lot against Clemson.
Yeah, he had 1 carry for 2 yards.
Yeah. So let's talk about, Seymour's the truth, and then all of a sudden, nothing.
Maybe he got hurt.
Yeah.
You just read us Mac Jones' numbers and that.
Yeah, give us Mac Jones' numbers because
Yeah.
he had a great day. Like, honestly, he's throwing a Smith. We said 200, 3 touchdowns, 12 receptions.
12 receptions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was
So,
in 2.5 quarters.
Yeah,
yeah. So, yeah, Mac Jones on the day was 36 off 45, 464 yards, 5 touchdowns.
yeah. So he completed, was it 26 other passes and 200 plus yards and another and several more touchdowns to other blokes that weren't named Smith. So
Yeah.
still not a bad effort against a higher team and a higher defense that have been playing pretty well.
So, back on Smith, the records that he broke on Monday night was single season receiving yard record, single season touchdown record, single game reception record, most yards in a half, career reception record for Alabama, single game receiving touchdown record, and then multi-game receiving record.
Who held the records before, does it say?
No, it doesn't.
So I know Crabtree had some unreal stats coming out of college.
Yeah.
So it doesn't necessarily mean he's going to translate to the NFL game. Crabtree did have a pretty decent career, but not a long career. But then it also wasn't like the Hopkins or Stephen Diggs or DK comparison. Like, didn't have,
Devontae Adams.
Yeah, Devontae Adams. Like, he didn't have any of those kind of years in him. Like, he was good, but he wasn't amazing.
No, that's a fair assessment.
So it'd be interesting to see what Smith does. We'll wish him all the best.
Definitely.
Can we talk?
Should we have a look at these NFL playoffs?
Yeah, can we talk about playoffs now?
Colts Bills?
Let's bring that up.
Yeah, start with Colts Bills. Did we talk about any of these? Well, I think we just ran through the results because we did Sunday morning. These.
We just mentioned the result.
Yeah, so Colts. Bills Colts game would have ended when we did our last one, As we said, Rivers, of course, being knocked out. But there were some interesting stats, I think, from this. I just run through. So Josh Allen in the red zone career, he's got 42 pass touchdowns, 0 intercepts, and 23 rush touchdowns.
That is fucked up.
That's mental.
Yeah.
Michael Pittman, wide receiver, second round out of USC, looks good for Colts.
I think he'll.
Okay, go.
I think he'll be the number one receiver for the Colts next
Next
year.
year, yeah.
Ty looks like he's on the outer.
It'd be really interesting to see what they do with that team quarterback wise as well with Rivers, whether they bring him back or not.
Do you think Rivers will go again?
If he's going to go again, it'll be with them.
Yep.
But
Yep.
hard to say.
I think during the game commentary was like, he's had a good run. He's happy to hang up his boots if doesn't get extended.
Yeah, definitely. So Bills were up 24-10 early in the fourth quarter in this game. So Colts did come back late to try and push it closer. Rivers and Allen both were over 300 yards in this game. Colts only ran for less than 160, but not good.
That's over.
Over 160. But, yeah, I was trying to read. What are you getting at here?
Yeah, so if the triangle goes...
I get what you're saying. I didn't understand what
then
I know what the no good was about. Because I was like, 160 yards, that's good. I guess it was they ran for 160 yards, but they still didn't win this game. They had a good run game.
Correct. That's what I was getting at.
Yeah,
not good enough.
No bueno.
Yeah.
So Colts fumble overturned at the end of the game, which gives them a Hail Mary chance. But, of course, it was no good. They didn't get the points they needed. The final kind of news out of this was, unfortunately for Zach Moss, his year is done. I think he had an ankle injury for them, so he won't feature in the rest of the playoffs. And like we talked last week, they need a running game, and they've signed Devontae Freeman.
Oh, did they?
Yes, who was with the Giants, signed late with the Giants after Barkley got injured.
Yep.
Didn't play too much. Giants, of course, sucked. I think he got COVID and then got hurt as well, so it didn't help his points. But they've signed him as an extra. I'd figure Singletary's probably going to get the bulk of the carries. And,
yeah, you'd think so.
And they'll fit Freeman in wherever. But, of course, as we said in our last podcast, Bills' first playoff win since 1995.
How old were you in 1995, Monkey?
Quick math.
5.
Yeah.
I was in kindergarten.
Yeah.
Yep.
Hitting on all the little girls. So the Rams upset.
Yep.
You were 5 as well. It's not a bad thing. Rams upset Hawks 30-20 in Seattle. Probably didn't help Seattle. There wasn't much. I don't think they're allowed crowds at the moment, so no 12th man for them.
12th man is non-existent.
Was pretty quiet. Luckily, the first quarter with 3-0 to the Rams. The Rams get a pick 6. How do you say it? Darius Williams takes that to the house. He did that while we were on the podcast, and DK couldn't chase him down in this one.
Pretty hard.
He jumped the route perfectly, like trying to set a screen up. And
I think it was probably only 30 out from the Rams' own end zone.
And he had a probably 10-yard lead, so made it easy.
Jumped that and took it to the house, and it might have been the deciding score, actually.
So... yeah, could have been. Yeah, definitely. Because the Hawks did strike back very quickly after that with DK scoring a touchdown. That Wilson and DK connection.
50 yards, yeah.
But Robert Woods goes ahead and scores a touchdown after that. DK gets a second touchdown, but that wasn't enough for them. The Rams hold on. Aaron Donald got hurt in theirs. I think he's been limited at training during the week.
It seems like it's a day-to-day decision for the weekend up in the frozen tundra.
Interesting thing about this was Goff came into this after 2 drives. Well, I think midway through the second drive, because I only remember it as Heineken. That's not his. No, that was Washington's quarterback. What was this? It was
Heineken.
Yeah,
Heineken.
But everyone calls him Heineken.
Wolford.
Yeah, he got hurt, of course, and got whacked by Jamal Adams. So he missed out in this game. Thankfully, all right. But I think, of course, they're going to go with Goff going forward. For Seahawks, though, Wilson, I think they'll try to look to rebuild. I think their GM had a few interviews for other jobs, and they've extended him for something ridiculous. I think 6 or 7 years.
Really?
Extra, just to keep him in with the Seahawks and try to rebuild that team.
Has he signed?
Not Russell, the GM. The GM. Sorry.
Apologies.
They've kept the GM around to keep the team together because they're going to need to build around Wilson. They need to find some more talent on defense. I think their offense is not too bad, honestly. Probably
their offense is good.
Yeah, probably maybe some offensive line help, but otherwise their defense needs addressing big time.
Looks like Aaron Donald's, by all reports, is right.
Yeah.
He says he's feeling healthy.
Yeah. I think he'd been limited in training, like he'd been doing stuff, but I think he'll play. He's a freak.
Yeah.
So the next game was the Bucks beat Washington football team 31-23. Brady's had 381 yards, 2 touchdowns. Fournette took the lead role in this. Ronald Jones, I think, either got hurt or sat. No, he started the game, but he didn't. He lasted like 1 or 2 drives and then didn't play for the rest of the game. And Fournette then took the load. Mike Evans Fournette had 93 yards and 1 touchdown. Mike Evans had 6 receptions for 119. So their offense, which is probably their strength. Their defense has been pretty good, but their offense is definitely what's going to keep them.
I tend to agree.
Got ridiculous talent on offense. The football team were pretty brave in this. Of course, they didn't have Alex Smith in this game. As we said, I call him the Heineken, the beer. Henneke. Henneke. He played pretty well for his
in your
second
defense,
game.
It looks a lot like Heineken.
I think the joke is his teammates call him Heineken. But
Just
Henneke,
there's an N on the end.
Yeah. Henneke didn't embarrass himself. He played pretty well.
So he came across from the XFL, was it?
Yes, he was number 2 quarterback. So number 1, I think,
right.
was Walker, and he's with the Panthers.
Yeah. Apparently he was finishing off his engineering degree when he got the call up with Washington.
So it was hey, we've had another flame out Ohio quarterback. We need someone else to come in here. Can you come play for us?
What's he trying to do? Engineer our way to the playoffs?
Must have been.
No.
Yeah. We didn't expect Washington to do really well coming out of the shittest division in the NFL, so it doesn't surprise me. Unfortunately for the Buccaneers, Alex Kappa, their right guard? Left guard?
I was going to say left guard. He's a guard.
He's a guard. Fractured his ankle, so it looks like he's going to be done for the year. I don't think he's playing any more playoffs with a busted wing like that. So
See Brady going up to Alex Smith at the end of the game.
Yeah.
Said not in verbatim, but pretty much.
Did he shake his head?
He did shake his hand. I think he gave him a hug, and I think he said something like, "You're an inspiration. Keep going."
Be interested to see what they do.
Etc.
It'd be very interesting to see what they do next year with quarterback. Because Alex Smith,
Washington.
Washington. I think
He
he'll
won
be
that
back.
job. He won that job.
Yeah.
Whether they go, because I think they're interviewing GMs as well at the moment. Haven't signed anyone. Whether that'll be the case going forward, they stick with him. But yeah, that'd be interesting to see how that goes.
Washington football team should not be ashamed of that year. They put up 7-9. No one expected anything out of them. So
everyone think they were dumpster fire, but
good result, really.
Give props to Ron Rivera as well. Cancel battle throughout the year to come back from that. Coach while getting treatment for cancer really did wonders for the team. Really stabilised them after being again a dumpster fire that we talked about for many years. Next game was the Ravens beating the Titans in a bit of a revenge game from last year and earlier in the year.
Revenge game,
Yeah.
and earlier in the year.
So Lamar was very dangerous on the ground, 136 yards with a touchdown. But probably the biggest props to the Ravens D, containing the King, 18 carries to 40 yards. That's pretty impressive.
I think that's the least rushing yards he had all season. So obviously they prepared for that and said, look, if we can bite down on the run, let them beat us through the air, and Tannehill and his receiving corps weren't able to do it.
Yeah. I think AJ Brown had a pretty good day, in this one.
He had a touchdown.
Over 100 yards, forcing, but
he had 83 yards
83
off 6 receptions.
Yeah.
Pretty close.
We'll round up.
Round up.
But that's probably the game plan. You want to take it out of Hendrick's hands, put it in Tony Hill's and say, can you beat us?
Yep.
And in this case, they didn't. So the Ravens, of course, as we're talking last
Lucky
week,
for us,
Yeah.
because we picked them as our smoky in the AFC outside of
the dark horse to keep going.
Kansas City Chiefs. I actually think if you review the tape, the picks are pretty good.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. What are you talking about, Perry? We're so good at this.
Oh, man. Never get it wrong. Never get it wrong.
Put your houses
Never.
on. But I think that those numbers from Lamar kind of say where he's at and where that team's at. Like, if he's going to pump out those numbers week to week, they're going to win more often than not.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. And after, and we touched on this last week, his numbers don't reflect the season that they had last year, which was an obscene season. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter so much about the numbers that you put up through that regular season. It comes down to the 3 or 4 finals games that you play.
Yeah, you've 0-0 when you come to playoffs. Everyone starts again.
Yeah, so he showed up, and I think the Ravens are the second best team in the AFC.
Yep, I definitely second that. So then moving on to the next game was Saints versus beat the Bears. Kind of expected, but with Saints being heavy favourites in NFC.
Went to script, the script that we picked.
21-9.
Bears struggled on offense. I think they ran for 48 yards on the ground. Trubisky had about 198.
Yeah.
Saints just, to be honest, this is probably kept a little bit closer than I had expected.
I think the
Saints would have been not resting, but
no,
taking it easy. I would have thought,
I'd say give props to the Bears defense. They did their job in this. If you can keep the Saints to 21 points, more often than not, your team is definitely in a chance to win.
Yep.
But in this case, of course, the Saints good enough to hold the opposition's offense only to 9 points, so they get the win in this.
Seems to be
a bit of a low-scoring game.
Seems to be Chicago Bears defense isn't the side of the ball that lets them down.
So interesting for the Bears. Both Nagy and Pace have been confirmed as head coach and GM for next year. Talk that both might be moved on because they have made the playoffs, but they haven't had an overly good record of late in the last few years. So, but they'll be around for another year for unfortunate Chicago fans.
They got to get them some offensive weapons.
Yes.
On the defense,
need themselves a quarterback.
On defense, Chuck Pagano, defensive coordinator, retired today.
Yes.
After 36 years.
In his 70s?
He'd be close.
73?
He was at Colts.
Long-time Colts.
Only 60.
60? Had his own cancer battle, of course.
He did while he was at the Colts.
Yeah. Wish him all the best, of course, definitely.
Indeed.
Maybe it could have been a bit of like, well, I'm sick of being a defense coach. I'm not really getting any head coach calls at the moment. I've made shitloads of money, so
60,
I'm 60. I'm going to spend some time with the grandkids and retire.
That's
good on him.
Yeah, all the best next year and moving forward.
So the next game was probably one of the better games in the playoffs. The Browns beat the
Very
Steelers.
fun to watch.
The game of the round.
Browns get out to a massive lead early, and Steelers
28-0 after the first quarter.
Yeah, Steelers chase them down and almost get there. Game finishes, of course, up 48-37. First win for the Browns at Heinz Field in about 20 years. They don't win very much in Pittsburgh.
That's regular season. It's not playoffs. First win in 20 years in Pittsburgh.
In Pittsburgh. So Baker had a pretty good game, 263 yards, 3 touchdowns. They had 127 yards and 2 touchdowns on the ground between their 2 main backs. Big Ben started off pretty poorly with 4 picks, but then brought it back with 4 touchdowns. They, of course, got an awesome receiving core over there, so they were never really going to be out of this. Even with a 28-point lead on them, they were going to fight back. And Big Ben probably had one of his better games in this. He's been a bit slow over the last couple of months.
Threw 4 picks, though.
But he did throw 4 picks.
Had a bit of a Jameis Winston game.
Yes.
Plenty TDs, plenty picks. Absolute offensive shootout. Like you're watching this at some stage, just going, is any defense going to rock up? I think it was just the Cleveland Browns able to take that early lead, 28-0. A lot of that stemmed from the first snap of the game, just going straight over Big Ben's head into the end zone. The Steelers had a chance to pounce on it. They couldn't get it. The Browns get it. They go up 7-0 off the first play.
Know what that feels like? At least it wasn't in a Super Bowl.
Yes. That is a reference to Cam Newton.
No, Peyton in the 2013 Super Bowl first snap.
That's right. We had it the wrong way around. Cam Newton.
Straight over his head.
No. There was Peyton against the Seahawks where they smoked 48-13. First snap went straight over Peyton's head. So I was like, as soon as you saw that, I was like, oh, we're getting fucked today.
Yeah, gets them off the wrong tone, I guess.
Yeah, it's not a way you want to start the game with a snap that goes over your quarterback's head.
No,
It's a poor way to start.
does not set the precedent.
So the question then, of course, go back to this Brown Steelers game. Big Ben, is he done? He's not the oldest of the five old quarterbacks. He's equal with Rodgers, I think. They're both 38.
Yeah, about that. He might be a touch older.
Yeah, a couple of months maybe.
The thing that makes me question, will he be around next year? The body language. He was in absolute tears. He was in shattered.
Yeah.
Like he was shattered after.
He did everything this offseason to get back from
his
elbow injury.
If it wasn't for Alex Smith, he was a comeback player of the year.
Yeah, agreed.
So was that just a sign of passion and him being really about this football team, or was it something more?
Like, he's probably dedicated the 12 months, since his elbow injury to rehab and getting back to the position where he could then be a professional quarterback. Leads you 10 to 12 and 4 on the season. Like
11-0 at one stage.
Yeah, exactly. So, again, as a team sport, like he probably will be very down on himself for throwing 4 picks. It doesn't help your team to do that. 4 touchdowns makes it a bit better. You kind of brought your team back into this. Don't know. They faded. They definitely faded towards the end of the year. You could see it. They got a few injuries. Whether Big Ben starting to struggle towards the end of the year, just because of the amount of passes, amount of reps and that. Because you got to remember, if he's throwing 40 passes in a game, he's probably throwing about 100 to 200 during training every week. You're in the thousands of passing attempts through the year. That might just wear your arm out to the point where it's just dead. Yeah.
Speaking of dead, his cap hit for 2021
I'm glad
is
that's where that went.
41 million.
A big cap hit too.
So he's still contracted.
Yeah, still under contract.
Yeah.
They'll see
cap
him
hit,
out.
though.
They'll see him out, I reckon.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to force him out or anything.
No.
They'll give him the options like, hey, if you want to come back, come back. If you want to retire, we're good with that too, because that's a lot of money we'll get back in the cap.
Do you bring him back and then sort of manage next season for a draft pick?
They're not going with Mason Rudolph, that's for sure.
No, I don't.
No.
Mason Rudolph, I don't think is the future. They're going to pick late though. Maybe Mac Jones. Maybe that makes sense for them. Late in the first round, because they'll pick in the late 20s. So maybe that makes sense for them.
A Big Mac, maybe.
Yeah, the Big Mac. We'll have to see what happens in the coming days, because none of these guys, of course, officially retired. That and like Rivers as well.
Yeah, all speculation.
Yeah. Same with Breeze. Like he's going to keep playing. He's got another game to play. Sorry, whether he keeps playing after that or not, or is this his farewell?
He off contract?
I don't think he is, but he's old as balls. Is probably the better way to say it.
He's like 41, 42.
Yeah, because
again after his injury this year as well.
Yeah, we'll get to the preview of the next games, but Brady's 43, he's 42. That's 85 years on the field next week. So we'll talk a little bit about that. But
that's like 4 young men.
Yeah. So let's talk about the other stories first. So Doug Peterson did get fired. He's the second ever Super Bowl winning coach to be fired within 3 years of a Super Bowl.
Thank you, ESPN, for that stat.
Yes.
No.
I think the coach, not the head coach, the owner wasn't overly happy with what he was planning. I think he wanted to promote coaches within his coaching staff instead of bringing in new guys, and I don't think the owner was overly happy with that. I think the owner he wants to work with Wentz, so I think Wentz may be staying there. It depends on the head coach, I guess. And it might be a requirement of being the head coach. You got to work with Wentz. He's 40, just under 40 mil next year cap hit. You're gonna have to work with him. So
that's possibly true.
Yeah. So again, story to follow. I don't think there's been any official head coaching signings in the last couple of days.
No, nothing.
Nothing.
Well, you'd expect a few to come through in
I'd
the
say
next few weeks.
I'd definitely say very soon. Of course, some of them might be waiting to interview guys that are in playoff teams. The Jags still talking about Urban Meyer there. I think Urban Meyer was talking with Falcons very briefly, but I think he's all on the Jaguars train, but they haven't said anything. talk of that there's been hype up in the media about he'd love to work with Trevor Lawrence, so instead of Justin Fields because that's connection. Either or, like so it'd be interesting to see how that happens there. But other coaching news, Dan Quinn, so former Falcons coach, joining the Cowboys to be their defensive coordinator, which is a pretty decent signing, I'd say, for them. He was excellent as a defensive coordinator at the Seahawks. So hopefully he can regain some of his mojo there because the Falcons, for a team that had a defensive head coach, weren't very defensive.
No, they really stunk on defense.
And the final other signing before we start talking about playoffs for this week, the Broncos have a GM. So George Patton joins them from the Vikings. He's been their VP GM, so assistant GM for the last 14 years, I believe.
That long?
Yeah, been there quite a while. Been involved in that team. You'd say he's been involved in some of the bigger decisions and the high-profile players they brought into there. Guys like Dalvin Cook, et cetera, et cetera. So hopefully he can bring some of that talent to Denver and work with Fangio to build a competitive team. He said Denver was a bit of a sleeping giant, so let's hope he was right. Go Broncos.
No bias there whatsoever.
Yeah.
Should we assess the upcoming NFL playoff games?
Yeah, let's go through 4 games, yes?
4 games. So
Where do you want to start?
kicking it off on Saturday afternoon, 4:30 in the Central Time, I believe, over in the States. Sunday morning our time, the Green Bay Packers take on the Los Angeles Rams. Going to be in the frozen tundra of Wisconsin. LA coming off a fresh win against the Seattle Seahawks, an upset. Green Bay obviously coming off the first seed week off.
Yep.
What's your thoughts on this game, Sean?
I think you as well probably liking what the Rams are doing at the moment. A bit of a dark horse. I think Cam Akers has really come on for them. They've got a running game. Green Bay has struggled a bit through the year, like last year definitely, and this year a little bit as well with that run defense. So it's whether they get him going. If Aaron Donald's healthy, got to get after Rodgers, got to pressure him, make him make some poor decisions. Goff, I think he's got to play. Like,
Is he going to start, do you reckon?
Yeah.
I think he has to. He'd be another week removed from his thumb surgery. He played excellent last week, so I think
he was good. Yeah,
I think they'd be like, "You're good to go, mate. Just go out there and do the best you can." So I think they've hit a bit of form. They've got one of the better defenses left in the playoffs. But Rodgers, Adams, you know, then you throw on Aaron Jones and is it Williams? Not Williams, the other one.
Jamal Williams.
Dylan.
AJ Dillon.
That like their running groups started to come on and strong as well. I guess the question will be Ramsey Adams because that's going to be the competition. That even could be the ball game because some of the other receivers on Packers don't scare you as much as Adams does. But Ramsey on Adams, can he slow him down? So guys like Donald and Brockers, can they get pressure on Rodgers and then force him to throw around? I'm expecting Tonya maybe to have a big game as the odd number out. So hopefully he can maybe sneak around and get into some of those areas if they're going to, Ramsey on Adams and spread the other guys on the receivers. Maybe he sneaks around a little bit.
Tonyan's a handful on his own. He's got double digits touchdown receptions this year. Second amongst tight ends, I believe.
So to summarise everything I've just said, it's going to be a close one. I think it's going to be a hard-fought, competitive game, maybe low scoring. It's probably going to be cold.
It will be cold.
It will be cold. Yeah.
So
does that put it in Green Bay's favour?
I think so.
Yeah. Well, Rams coming from LA, so
yeah.
What about the Titans? They went there a few weeks ago. It was an absolute frozen tundra. You would have thought,
snowing like crazy.
It might have favoured the
Henry,
King. Might have favoured the King Henry, and the Packers put on an absolute clinic. And they did the same thing in Chicago 2 weeks ago. I think the Packers win this.
Yeah,
and
Packers should be favourites.
I think they are, and I think they win this. I think they win this comfortably.
Yeah. Give them a 2 touchdown start, you think? So
two touchdowns is a lot. I'll give them 10.5, which is what our friends at Sportsbet are giving. They might. Nah.
Do you think
they
they'll
might be giving them
score?
6.5.
They'll score 30 odd points and Rams score 20. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. I think that's fair. I think that's fair.
I think it's fair. I may say slightly closer, maybe like 24-21.
Okay. Time will tell. I think the Packers will win.
I think this will be a great game either way. It'll either be a bit of a defensive battle, or maybe it's slightly low scoring more than you'd think, maybe weather-wise. But, Rodgers and Adams have been killing it in the snow so far. So, yeah.
Adams looks a step quicker in the snow than everyone else does.
Yep.
He's a cheat code.
And that Ramsey battle,
Unreal.
That's going to be unreal.
All right. Let's wrap that one up.
Next one.
This is a really interesting matchup in the AFC.
Packers?
Yeah, Packers. Packers?
Yes, Packers. Yeah.
Okay, go Packers. I was like, I was thinking about it. I'll go Packers.
This one is a real fence sitter. Buffalo Bills 13-3 taking on the Baltimore Ravens 11-5. It's in Buffalo.
Fire, absolutely.
They get second game in Orchard Park here. God knows the last time they had 2 playoff games in a row. It's probably when they went on that 4.
Back to Jim Carrey.
Jim Carrey in Buffalo.
It's back again.
Yeah.
Bruce Almighty.
Probably back to Kelly days, I'd say. That's
Jennifer Aniston was in that movie.
You said that last week.
Just keeping everyone up to date.
I think it was
Jennifer Aniston.
Yeah, no, you said Steve Carell last time.
Yeah.
Oh, come on. I said Jim Carrey and I said Jennifer Aniston.
Yeah, Jennifer Aniston.
Yeah, she's in it.
She is in it. Yeah.
She's sexy as well.
Yes. So back to the Buffalo Ravens game.
This is very hard to pick.
I think this may depend on the weather.
Yep.
If it's snowing, I think that hinders Lamar because that probably gives it more to Allen, who's been plays in Wyoming, like he's played in the Frozen Bowls. He's played in Buffalo.
Pass heavy offense.
Versus Lamar, who's probably going to want to run it.
Why wouldn't that be better in the snow?
Well, it depends how thick the snow is, I guess.
Allegedly,
if it's
Jackson came out this week saying he's never played in the snow before.
There you go. If it's
like Louisville, so they wouldn't have that much snow, if any, in Kentucky.
Well, if it's a game like
Lamar Jackson, Wikipedia, where did he grow up?
Yeah, if it's a game like where they had Shady McCoy running in 2 feet of snow.
And juking the fuck out of everyone.
Yes. Yeah. I'm not sure that helps Lamar enough with his style of play. I think that helps Buffalo. More.
I think this is intriguing.
Man, this game I think will be close.
Yep.
Like I mean,
out of all these games, if I had to put money on anything, I'd be holding it here because I got no idea.
Yeah, because I think Ravens D's probably better than most people give him credit for.
Mm-hmm. Or they kept Henry to 40 yards of 18 carries last week.
I think they're peaking at the right time. Bills' defense maybe not as good as the Ravens D, but I'd say Bills' offense with the amount of weapons like Diggs, Beasley, Brown, and with Allen, of course, throwing the ball, they're going to be dominant.
Those numbers that we spoke about earlier in the show in the red zone, where Allen's 46-0 touchdowns, picks, and he's run 23 touchdowns.
Yeah, so I think that's crazy. I worry about their run game, of course. Yep. Can they control clock? Can they, the possession game as well? Because you can't keep giving the ball back to Lamar because we saw what happened when the Browns did that again against the Ravens earlier in the year. Give them more opportunities, they're going to score points. So, but if I go back to the Ravens offense, not 100% sold on the wide receivers. Hollywood's been playing much better.
Yeah,
Dez is getting involved. So I think they're getting hot at the right time. They've got some guys in the backfield that can help them out. Lamar's getting hot. Man, it's going to be close. Flip a coin.
Pick one.
I'm a huge Lamar fan, so I'm going to back the Ravens. I think Denver should have drafted Lamar when he came out. So that,
I am also going to go Baltimore, but I think this is the hardest one to split.
Oh, definitely. And we're going against Allen, who's
Probably the 4th best player in the NFL this year.
Yeah, second quarterback. Like you'd pick third.
Third. I'll go Rodgers, Mahomes, Josh Allen.
Yeah, agree. And I'll pick the 2 old blokes before I'd go Baker.
Yep.
Buffalo. I'll switch it up.
No.
At home, in the cold, Josh Allen.
Yeah.
It's a hard combo.
Well, like I can't disagree with you, James. Though. It's.
I mean,
it's excellent. Like,
yeah, the run game, and I think that's going to play effect towards the end of the game. Time management might hurt them a little bit, but yeah.
Time to tell. If it's sunny, hot.
It's not going to be hot.
Well, if it's mild.
Mild's a better term.
So as in it's a clear day to run fast. I worry the Ravens. Well, I think the Ravens could do a bit better. But man, can't split it. I could go either way.
Sunday morning, we should maybe watch it together.
Oh, I'm not here, so you guys can watch it.
Yeah.
Come down my place.
#Coast.
Monday morning, our time, Sunday afternoon in the States. Kansas City versus Cleveland Browns. Is it clear cut? Are the Chiefs a way better team? Or does last week have you questioning?
If the Chiefs play the Chiefs football, they'll smack them.
Should win.
Should win. My concern is they've had the week off. Technically have 2 weeks off and probably haven't played football in about 3 weeks.
Yep.
In total of elapsed time.
Because Mahomes didn't play and
Yep.
a lot of their starters didn't play.
So they haven't played since week 16.
In week 17, yep.
Yeah, so they haven't played since their last week 16 game. So there's, 3 weeks of elapsed time. They could come in the rusty. Because I think this is what happened to Lamar and Baltimore last year.
Too much time off.
And you could see it took them almost to the last quarter before they started to get going again. I think Patty Mahomes is probably in a better spot than Lamar was last year as a comparison. You're talking about MVP last year. Actually, no, Lamar got the MVP last year. MVP,
the year before.
Yeah, he's won an MVP, won the Super Bowl last year. Definitely got extreme amount of talent, talented roster, awesome offense. Defense is pretty good. Don't see the Browns winning this.
I don't know that.
I can imagine an upset where the Browns control the clock, pound the absolute shit out of the ball, give it to Chubb, give it to Hunt. Hunt in a bit of a revenge game as well. 40 carries between the two of them, 200 plus yards, control the clock, play good defense, keep it out of Mahomes' hands. Yeah, maybe they sneak a 21-17 game.
I can imagine it, Sean. I can imagine it.
Yeah.
I can also imagine me waking up in the morning and having $500 million in my bank account and Heidi Klum.
Yeah, in your bed and Sarah going, what the fuck?
No. Heidi Klum's making pancakes.
Okay.
Yeah, that's all I was going with that one.
All right.
Yeah, I can imagine it. I can imagine that happening.
But I think Kansas put 40 on them and Browns only score 20.
Yeah, I don't mind
maybe 30.
I think it might be a bit of a shootout. I think the Browns are better than teams are giving them credit for.
Yeah.
A la last week against the Pittsburgh Steelers. They're coming up against the best team in football over probably the last 3 years.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So good luck to them. I'd love to see Cleveland get it done here, but I think the Chiefs are way too good and they get it done. And I don't think it's embarrassing for Cleveland.
No. I think the first quarter will be very telling. If Chiefs come out, score some early points, they're here to put in work.
But what about last year?
The Browns come out.
What about last year when the Chiefs were down in all 3 of their games to win the Super Bowl? They were down 14, 20 and some.
28. Sorry, yeah. They definitely can come back. They can score a lot of points. So I guess what I'm saying is that first quarter, see how flat they are. And hopefully they don't give up a huge lead, but it might make it interesting. So they can definitely chase. You're going to have to score a lot of points.
I'll go
Cleveland's got to score points.
I'll go Chiefs win this, but it's closer than you'd imagine.
Yeah. Field goals aren't going to win this for the Browns. Got to score touchdowns.
Yep. Maybe the most intriguing game in the NFC. Let's put it that way. New Orleans.
What about the last one we just
Tampa Bay.
Dickhead. What about Ravens versus Bills?
No, I said in the NFC.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Sorry. I thought you were still talking about Browns and Chiefs game. I was just like, it's not that intriguing compared to the last one.
Well, they're all intriguing.
Yeah.
They are.
All right,
That's why we're in the playoffs.
I'll give you a solid pass on that one. Let's go old man football. Tampa versus New
There's
Orleans.
two old men. There's
Yeah.
two old men.
Yeah. Like I said before, 85 years combined age because Breeze's birthday is Saturday for us. So Friday.
Yep.
How old is he then? 108?
No, 42, but close enough.
So I did.
108 in football years.
Yep.
Have you seen the meme that Tom Brady sent of them out of them as old men playing on the History Channel?
Yes, I did.
So funny. So
A few
funny.
greys. A few greys.
Oh, that's so good. So I did do the maths on this. So Aaron Rodgers, Drew Brees, Tom Brady tallies up to 122 years
Years of age.
between the three of them.
Yep.
Between the five others, so we've got Jared Goff at 26,
Yep.
Baker
Oh, you're going
Mayfield 25,
3 versus 5.
3 versus 5. Baker Smith is at 25 years old. Lamar Jackson 25, Patty Mahomes 25, and Josh Allen 24 is 125.
They're older.
Just older by
Just
3 years.
older.
5 versus 3.
5 versus 3.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
pretty close.
Yeah. Back to football.
That's an interesting insight. What was the difference? 3 years?
3 years. Yeah.
So let's recap. Breeze, Brady, and Rodgers
Rodgers.
are 3 years younger than Mahomes, Jackson, Allen, Goff,
Mayfield.
Mayfield. 3 versus 5.
Yeah.
It's pretty crazy.
It is great. That's crazy.
5 guys versus 3 guys that are the same age.
So,
Yeah.
is this the retirement bowl? Do you think whoever
Brady's got another year
Brady's
contract.
got another year.
He's got another year contract.
is he coming back there?
I think it will. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he's a competitor. I think he
Yeah.
does that.
I mean,
Well, if he doesn't
this
win-
deep into the season,
Yeah. Well, if he doesn't win a Super Bowl, probably makes sense. Maybe give it another year with the
He's-
talent they've got.
Well,
Yeah.
if he doesn't, I think he gives up 25 million. So
Well, it's not. His missus makes more money than he does, so I don't think it's about
change.
the. I don't think it's about the money.
25 million.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think it's about the money, but I think you're looking at the talent on their roster and adding a few extra guys next year. You'd think, oh, I'd go around another year. If he wins a Super Bowl this year, you might go, yeah, I did it.
Yeah.
How does that feel, Bill? Like I did it without you.
Pay me now.
Yeah.
You pay me
Yeah.
now. Maybe.
Saints, on the other hand, I think this could be Breeze's last year. I don't think he goes around again.
He was busted up. Busted up.
yeah.
Looked a
so
bit old at points. Tom did as well, but yes.
Just those shots when he was breaking ribs, like left, right, and center. Looked very old.
So let's talk about this game. What are we feeling?
I think the Bucks are a good price. They're $2.40.
You look at that
Yeah.
You look at the offense. They're 3-4 receivers. I think Jones may be out in this, or he's.
They can give the rock to Fournette.
but
He's
yeah,
fine.
You got Fournette there. They've got. I think they had Vaughn come in, who was their rookie from the last year.
Keyshawn Vaughn.
But he fumbled, I think, in their last game, so I'm not sure if he's going to be on the outer or not. But then you've got Gronk at tight end. Bright came into the game actually in the last one, so they used him a lot. So you got involved. So they definitely got a great offense. Losing Kappa on their offensive line probably doesn't help, but they've been pretty solid in protecting Brady. I think that could be the ball game. If Saints defensive line can really get up and cause Brady issues, which is I think has always been that's the game plan. Cause him issues, make him under duress so he can't hit
Blitz.
Yeah, can't hit those other, the big name talented guys receiving the ball.
Saints defense has been
They can do
good.
it.
They've been good
I'm
this year.
worried about Saints defense.
Yeah.
Um,
I think the Saints offense can definitely put enough points up and they can compete.
I'm also very worried about Tampa's defense.
Yeah, Tampa's defense.
For two very different reasons.
Come on, Mike Thomas. I think, is Mike Thomas... No, he's been on injury reserve and maybe back for this game.
I think he's back. And
Yeah.
Kamara's definitely available.
Kamara definitely available. Murray, I think, has been banged up a little bit, but I think he should play. Because it wasn't Smith or Sanders. One of the other blokes had a really good game last week in the playoffs. They had come in, just a bit of a no-no. That's why I can't remember it. But I think Thomas is meant to be back.
We're talking about the best wide receiver in football in 2019.
Mm-hmm. Who do you pick? I know he's going Buccaneers. What are you picking?
This is harder than the Bills-Baltimore game.
What would you prefer? Rodgers first Brady or Rodgers first Breeze? Considering if Rodgers was
So before you make
I
decision,
don't want to get ahead of myself.
before you make your decision, Mike Thomas has been activated.
There you go. That probably helps. Yeah, I'm gonna go Saints. I think their defense has been better. Their offense is good enough. They've beaten the Bucks twice this year already.
Yeah, consider that. They have
And beat them
twice.
well, I think, in both those games.
Yep.
Like, not even close.
I'm going Buccaneers.
Oh, sneaky
I'm
Peppy.
going Buccaneers.
I'll back the Saints over here.
Third
So
time's the charm.
we'll back these two will back the Buccaneers down this end. I'm going to go Saints. So so we're picking what? Saints versus Pack and Baltimore versus Kansas. There are going to be some fire games next week.
Either way.
Yeah. I think of the eight teams, the only team that maybe doesn't. Oh well, you like the Browns. Browns probably the only team that doesn't interest me in that lot.
Super Bowls, Chiefs versus Packers.
Yeah.
I'll skip next week.
Yeah, got
If Tampa can get over Saints, I reckon Tampa Bay has.
No, they're not beating the Packers.
You know, right?
No. I think Packers will.
Take that hat off your head.
I think the Packers will walk in if they come against the Buccaneers. They'll be happy with that.
Anyway, it's going to be enthralling.
Oh, definitely.
Either way it goes, there's obviously always people have insights and they never prove to be right.
Yeah.
So should be entertaining.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll see you after next week. At the moment, I'm feeling maybe a Baltimore Green Bay final.
Baltimore.
I'm backing Baltimore all the way in yet at this point.
And one thing that we can all agree with is that the Renegades stink.
I think so. Let's finish up our NFL chat for this week.